What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Lonnie Reacts, and we are back with another reaction video today. Now, this video is titled NBA Legends Explain How Crazy Good Larry Bird Was. Um, now, I'm also going to watch some Larry Bird highlights since I haven't really seen them, but I stumbled across this video first, and it looks interesting. So, I'm going to check it out. As usual, I don't got too much to say though. Let's just get into this video, man.
Indiana, who gave us an 80s to remember by lighting up a battle between the Celtics and the Lakers, will forever be heralded as one of the players who saved basketball. Bird and Magic's coast-to-coast war and jaw-dropping styles gave the NBA the boost it needed before the emergence of Michael Jordan. But for Bird, with 3 titles, 2 Finals MVPs, and 3 consecutive MVP seasons, some forget just how good he really was. Today we look at NBA players explaining how crazy good Larry Bird was in his prime. Before we get into all that, if you want to win a PS5 with NBA 2K22 and Madden NFL 22 included, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. When speaking of the NBA's greatest of all time, there's always 5 or 10 guys that hit the list. Each carries a different generation. From 50s Bill Russell to 60s Wilt Chamberlain or 70s Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 80s Magic Johnson, 90s Michael Jordan, 2000s Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, to today's LeBron James. Some get overlooked when they shouldn't. For example, Tim Duncan. And others
Tim
get
Duncan is easily top 5 greatest players of all time, but like as you said, he gets overlooked. I think Duncan is so overlooked because his style of play. He wasn't some flashy player, he was Mr. Big Fundamental.
left behind because of the lack of
Tim's so
titles,
goated.
like
I
Charles
love him.
Barkley. What happens when all these players talk of another great as if he was like no other? Larry Bird was lauded by most of these legends, because he was one of them too. He was consistent, tough, offensively masterful, and one of the first big guys to shoot many three-point shots. LeBron James spoke candidly in an interview about how he was one of the few guys ever to win a three-point contest with a warm-up shirt on. LeBron referring to the time Larry won his 3rd consecutive three-point contest. James continued,
for young guys that don't know him, they think of Larry Bird as a jump shooter. But he was so much more than that.
He
He
could
was a
pass
passer.
too. Yeah, he
He
could
averaged
pass.
double-digit rebounds. He defended, he took charges.
The man was a forward,
And,
bro. Like, bro, Larry Bird was damn near. I don't want to say that Brian for LeBron, but he damn near was, bro. He was like that first point forward. I think Larry Bird was like the first point forward we ever got, bro. A forward that can damn near do it all.
He's a straight-up complete basketball player, and me as a small forward.
Later in his career, LeBron adapted his game to the new way of basketball, which was a charge led by the Golden State Warriors in shooting more from behind the arc. LeBron was considered a big guy, but began shooting more threes, and no doubt was heavily influenced by the fact that Larry Legend had already achieved this feat in the 80s.
Three-point shot
In another interview, when asked about his top 3 of all time, LeBron put Larry Bird firmly in there with MJ and Dr. J.
My God, 3, Larry Bird, Dr. J. Michael Jordan.
Shaq had a very different opinion on Larry initially. He said he disliked Bird because he was jealous. He thought, how could this regular-looking guy do everything?
Never really had a chance to play against Larry Bird, but I actually used to hate Larry Bird. I hated it.
Shaq soon realized as he grew older and wiser that despite getting the luck of the Irish with the Celtics,
wait. That
Shaq
was
soon
nasty.
realized as he grew older
On my life, I'm finna watch some Larry Bird highlights, bro. That was nasty.
and wiser that despite getting the luck of the Irish with the Celtics, Larry made his own luck when it came to shooting the ball. Shaq, at 7'1", of course, had a completely different style of game at the time. He was built to the max and used brute force to impose his will on the defense and rack up the points, blocks, and rebounds. Shaq was also faster than most give him credit for, particularly in the early part of his career.
Oh yeah, Magic Shaq was fast. He wasn't as big as he was. That nigga was kind of slim.
Bird was notoriously slow, which was all the more testament to his skill set, but his basketball IQ was just on a different planet. He once sank a shot from behind the backboard, which O'Neal chalked down to a fluke following a bet with his friend.
Sam Vincent to Bird, and it goes.
Okay. Bro, I'm definitely watching Larry Bird highlights. I ain't gonna lie.
I've seen everything.
Shaq never really got the chance to play against Larry Bird, which is unfortunate, because I don't think it would have taken him so long to recognize greatness. On the other hand, six-time NBA champion Kareem Abdul-Jabbar battled Bird on numerous occasions while playing with the Showtime Lakers. Bird got the better of him in the 1984 finals, and took another two in a decade that was largely dominated by the purple and gold. Kareem spoke about how Larry might have been the best he had played against and said,
How good was
Michael
Bird?
Jordan.
I don't think people
People don't
look at
appreciate
him and think,
it. Yeah,
oh,
they
he's a
say,
white
"Oh,
guy,
he's-
slow guy.
The chubby white guy, he wore us out, man. You know, because he just, this muscle here, the one between his ears,
Yeah.
that was his best, you know, because he made the three-pointers and he had assists and rebounded, steals.
That was
He was
nasty.
always at
I
the right
remember
place at
seeing
the
it.
right time on the court. You know, one of the great
Bro, I
players.
can't lie, bro. Larry was ahead of his time, undeniably. There's a lot of players like that. In like the 70s, 80s, 60s, Pistol Pete. Just a lot of players that were so clearly ahead of their fucking time, bro, and are so clearly the pioneers of just how the game is played today. And I just appreciate that, bro. And I want to learn more about these players.
I had the opportunity to play against.
11-time All-Star Charles Barkley, a regular season MVP during a star-filled 90s, was once asked, "Are you better than Bird?" And he took a long pause before answering, which is very telling.
Am I better than Bird? Oh man, that's a great question.
No.
Most great players respond immediately with how they think they're the best because you have to have that kind of
Yeah, you gotta have
mentality
that
in order to
mentality.
get to the top.
You the best.
Instead, Barkley answered,
I'm a better rebounder. I'm probably a better defender. He's a better shooter, obviously. You know, a lot of people talk about who's better.
But you have to think, you have to have that mentality.
No, you know. I think, you know, it's a team game.
I think deep down he knew that Bird was a better player, and for someone as good as Chuck to be stumped like that in an interview shows you how heavy the weight of Larry Bird's legacy was. Former teammate Kevin McHale also references how unreal Bird was to play with. McHale was Bird's right-hand man while playing with Boston, claiming the Sixth Man of the Year award twice, along with 7 All-Star appearances.
I'm not gonna lie, bro.
His
One thing, I'm so glad we moved away from them fucking booty shorts, bro. Why was that even a thing, bro? Like, and it's funny, bro, because like from the fucking 80s to the 90s, bro, they immediately switched from them booty shorts to the long shorts, and now we kind of in like just kind of small shorts. They not booty shorts, but they small.
Story of a
just
specific
funny, bro, the
Detroit game is
evolution.
fascinating. There was a bit of time left on the clock, and we had beaten Detroit, and I just scored 56, and I'm walking off the court, and Larry said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm done." I said, "I'm exhausted. I'm tired." Larry goes, "Don't do it, man, because when I get that hot, I'm not coming out of the game." A week later, he got that hot. He looked at me at about 50 points, and he looked at me and said, "I told you." The pair would go on to win 3 titles together, and McHale would continue to tell stories that live on in Celtics folklore forevermore. A highlight being a throwback from Bird's brutal trash talk at a game in Phoenix.
We have a play, out of bounds play, I'm taking it out, and Larry says, "I'm going to bust off the play, and I'm just going to come out, and I'm going to shoot a 3, and I'm like, "We're down 2. I'm like, "No, don't do that." I'm like, "Let's shoot a 2, please. Go to the hole, try to get fouled. Let's just get into overtime, see if we can't win this game." And Larry says, "No, I'm just going to bust a 3 on him." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So he tells the Phoenix bench, tells the coaches, "Yeah, I'm just fixing to bust a 3 on you guys and just go home. I'm tired of this." And he gets the ball, jumps out, busts the play, comes out, gets the ball at the slot, shoots the ball. As the ball's in the air, he kind of turns towards the Phoenix bench and yells, "Told you so."
Larry's mental game was such that he could just open up any team and tear them apart. He would use psychological warfare on a regular basis. Players speak of his toughness not because of his size or physicality, but because of his mind. He would impose his will on the opposition and could force them off their game just as much as he could switch on his. A mastermind at trash talk tactics, Larry Bird will forever go down in history as one of the greatest trash talkers of all time. And in the 80s, that mattered. With players such as Bill Laimbeer, Hakeem Olajuwon, Magic Johnson, and the eventual emergence of Michael Jordan, Bird did what was necessary in order to gain that mental edge that took him over the top. James Worthy, the 1988 Finals MVP, simply stated that Larry was trash-talking all the time, but the problem was he could back it up.
Yeah, he could back it up. So when you're arrogant and you can back it up, you're not arrogant, you're just good. And Larry was good.
Even Werther's former teammate Magic Johnson spoke on the fact that he had a real dislike for Larry Bird as far back as their college playing days for the very reason that Larry would constantly get the better of him. Johnson claimed in a recent interview during a press build-up for the Broadway play about the pair that after he beat Larry in the NCAA championship game in 1979, the most watched college basketball game ever, by the time he got to the Lakers, they were 0-8 to the Celtics.
You had to hate the Celtics to beat them because when I got here, we were 0-4, I think 8, and then the first time against the Celtics in championship series, and then we lost that in '84. That made us 0-9, I believe.
And later is quoted as saying, "When I played, Larry Bird was the only one I feared." Not bad when hearing it from a 5-time champion and one of the true great basketball players of all time.
I gotta
At the
watch the Magic
2019
Johnson
NBA
highlights
Awards,
too.
Johnson received the NBA Lifetime Achievement Award, but it was shared with guess who? Larry Bird. Bird was simply the king of talking the talk, then actually going out and walking the walk.
Listen, man, retirement is great for you because you never talked this long.
Dominique Wilkins recounts one of the most famous games where Larry Bird promised Kevin McHale he was going to break McHale's record against Atlanta. Wilkins said,
"He got so hot in that game that you talk about that patented step back. He was doing that step back and he switched it to his left hand 3 separate times in that game and hit a 3. He was scoring anywhere on the floor that he wanted.
Is this when the bench was giving each other 5?
The bench was giving each other 5.
So did you get in a fight with them after the game? Forget Larry. Did you beat anybody on the bench? Because you giving 5, he's scoring on me.
Every one of those guys got fined $3,000.
Okay.
Larry's
And
legend
the way he did it, it just makes it look like he would regularly do that shit. And if that's something he would regularly do, this nigga is just far too skilled and just isn't talked about enough, bro. Cause the shit I'm seeing, bro, this is 2020 basketball. This ain't 1970s basketball.
lives on because of the greats that want to tell them. The reason there's a list of top 10 players who consistently call Bird their toughest opponent or one of their all-time greats is because Larry himself is in that list. Larry is a top
Look
10
at that
baller of all
ass.
time. His style doesn't matter when his skill sinks
nasty.
the opposition. Because above all, the opposition will remember. They'll remember the steals, the shots, the clutch plays, and the trash talk. They'll remember the Bird from the early 80s, not from the early 90s. The Larry who stepped out on the court in his warm-up jacket and made Michael Jordan recoil in envy. MJ announced,
He ain't took off his top yet. I didn't see when he took off his top.
well, when Bird did, it was all business. He may as well have taken a mop and bucket to the floor because he was about to clean up. He was an impetuous and never relenting opponent that took the life from anyone who stepped onto his battlefield. The consensus is a resounding stamp of legendary status for the man who will forever go down in the history books as one of the greatest ever players, and arguably the greatest ever Celtic to grace the court. What did you think of Larry Bird in his prime?
That was a pretty good video. I saw a few highlights in this video. They just proved this nigga was definitely ahead of his time, bro. And I really need to watch some older footage of these old basketball players, man. Cause what the hell? I also want to watch some Michael Jordan, what you call it? I can't even think of his name now. I'm finna just end the video, bro.